So, good afternoon. We are here with young Willard, who is from Design 31, and he is graciously given us some of his time to tell us about his experiences in business and what his business is, of course, and pass on some advice to those young entrepreneurs that I know love to watch this series and find out why they should be entrepreneurs and the troubles that await them in the future and how to get past them. There's always the challenges along the way. So welcome. And again, thank you for taking the time this afternoon. Tell us a bit about yourself and tell us about your business.
First of all, thank you for having me, Keith. I enjoy sharing this information. I am a creator. I run a brand house called Design 31 and 31 Studios, as you see.
Yeah.
We do everything from marketing, branding, strategy, large format signage. We bring people's dreams to life and their businesses to life. You have a business idea, we bring it to life, or you have a business and you're running a marketing campaign or something like that. And we can take everything from the idea to the execution, idea, strategy to the execution. So we were talking about Memphis. Memphis has been a second home for me. I'm originally from Jackson, Mississippi. But my mother is from Byhalia, Mississippi, which is right outside of Memphis. And Memphis has always been the second home for me. And I've been here for a number of years, since 2002. Then as you see the basketballs on the wall, I look like a football player, but I played college basketball. I had a JUCO stint here at Shelby State, which is now Southwest Community College.
Yeah.
So I was here from 95 to 97. And then I was here, during the off seasons from school.
Okay.
And I came back permanently, me, my wife, and my youngest son in 2003.
Great.
So started as a teacher and a coach. And when I was a teacher and a coach, I was an athletic director, basketball coach. And then I always had that artistic side to me. And the people at my school found out about it. And I then became the webmaster, the photographer, the DJ, everything the school needed, from branding to posters to doing commercials for recruitment.
Yeah.
I started doing that. So started doing it on the side. And I really started when I was 31. And 31 was also my high school jersey number, hence Design 31.
31, yeah.
Right. So in 2012, I stepped away from teaching and decided to go full throttle. Then me and a business partner of mine started a prep school in West Memphis, which kind of took me away a little bit. So I could say I went back full throttle in 2017, 18, in that time, right before COVID actually. And been going strong ever since.
That's fantastic. So that's an interesting change. Educators are valuable resources, and the people, the people are well needed. But then you have your own creative spirit that you felt you needed to fill by stepping away from what is basically it's a solid career.
Right.
And so you took your entrepreneurial route. What was your inspiration for that?
Well, my first foray into entrepreneurship was back when I first graduated. So when I first graduated from college, I went back home, worked for a phone company for a time. And then I ran a valet parking, like a franchise of valet parking when I was my own boss. And I had a booth and it had like basically a lot. In Mississippi, it didn't last too long, but that was my first. And I'm an A-type personality. I think I was born to lead, born to be in charge.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's just, I know who I am.
Right.
So it's always been in me to run my own ship. And I believe that to establish wealth, you have to. And there's no ceiling over your own earnings if you're the boss.
Yeah.
So if you ask some of my former principals, I may or may not have been the best employee when it comes to taking orders. Not to say that I couldn't take orders, but it's always burning in me to lead. Right. So
yeah,
that's what caused it.
Yeah, it's some people have that. I mean, I've never worked for a corporation. I've always worked
Wow.
for startups, and right from an early age, and so I can relate to that, you know. And it's I have friends who work for large companies here in town, and I was like, I just couldn't. I just like the ability to make that decision
Yeah,
and go with
your
it.
schedule and
Yeah.
your schedule. When I
Yes.
taught, man, we would come out of the building and not know what the weather was like.
Yeah.
You know, is it raining? Is it cold? Or is it hot? And then, you know, we're trying to go pay bills and things of that nature. And for the most part, you're in the building, try to pay bills after 4 o'clock
Right.
and drive around and stand in line. And it was just, you know, but as an entrepreneur, if I want to take a break and handle business, if I want to go by the river and eat a sandwich at lunchtime and ease my mind, I can do so. I can set my own schedule.
That's it.
I had to have that in my life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when my kids were growing up, I was able to go and participate in watching the sports, the volleyball and the soccer and all that. And I was able to do that because of that freedom. We have this thing in coaching, it's called an entrepreneurial ladder, and you just, you know, it starts at the bottom where you're basically a student, and then you become an employee, and then you might become a manager, and it's only after you then move up the ladder that you begin to accumulate wealth, because you begin to own you begin to own the company, and then you start giving back and you start investing, and you're not an entrepreneur until you're towards the top of the ladder. You become a business owner and stuff. So it's interesting the way people, you know, can move up that ladder, but certain types are definitely predestined to be entrepreneurs, and it takes something special to be able to do that, because it's a big leap. You know, your whole livelihood, you know, we all need money to survive, and so taking that leap is a big step forward, really. So how did you learn about business?
How did I learn about business? That's a good question. I believe I learned along the way. Believe it or not, at the beginning, like I said, when I was running, actually, I started valet parking in school when I was in college. So after basketball games, late night, I would do it. And I started learning about the hand-to-hand cash, and then how things were scheduled on that side. And I saw the owner of the business kind of ride around, not do the work himself, but have employees that actually carried out the work. Yeah. And there was an amount of trust that was involved there. So when I ran my own booth, it was the same way. As a matter of fact, it's very hard to trust when it comes to cash, because in valet parking, because like I said, I kind of ran like a franchise, and the guy that he was over the franchise, he had a system of payment. So you make $7 an hour as a valet. However, if you make over that amount in tips an hour, then you don't get paid an actual check. That cash is your check, right? Okay. Which made everybody say, "Oh no, I didn't make any money, but I'm looking at your pockets and you got these bulges." You know, so learning by doing, learning on the job training. Actually being an athletic director taught me about business as well, because we have a budget, and we have all these sports, and we have to make sure that each sport is taken care of that budget. You can look at the coaches, like, you know, employees as well, because they have to make sure in terms of resources, in terms of documentation, to report back to me. They have to keep their things aligned. Yeah. So even in the teaching profession, there were so many different things where the parallels were the same. It's just right across the board. Right. And then just reading books and seminars and podcasts and so many different things. I'm always learning, a lifelong learner, and I'm still learning. So learning by doing, and then just researching, you know?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, because everybody starts a business because they have a passion to do something, right? You know, or they work as an electrician for somebody, and they think that they can do that by themselves because they're a good electrician, right? But that business side of it is always is trickier to learn, you know, right from the start, from licensing and all these bureaucratic hurdles that you have to leap through in order to even start a business, and let alone maintain a business.
Right. It's a two-way street to me. You can work in your business, and work on your business.
Yeah.
Working in your business, everybody likes to do. That's your passion.
Yeah.
That's what you like to do. Working on your business is the paperwork and the taxes and all these other requirements that nobody likes. That part of business kind of sucks.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
It does.
But you know, you can find yourself working in the business full time, and then 5 years go by and you look back and you think, well, this is what I really signed up for. I planned on making money and building a business, but you get caught up in the day-to-day routines and the day-to-day crises that come along.
Yes. You're a firefighter.
Yes, you're exactly right, especially when you have employees.
Right.
It's one fire after another when it's under those sort of circumstances. So what, so marketing is a competitive field, should we say?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's one of those professions where everybody thinks they can be a marketer. They all have some ideas about it. It's a bit like when I wrote some software. We were a software as a service company, and people would say, "Oh, my nephew can code." I'm like, well, maybe, maybe it's not the same. And I always think marketing is the same way, because everybody has a vision of what marketing is.
It is.
And so, people work and then they spin off and start their own business, but it's not necessarily their knowledge of marketing. So how did you build up your base knowledge of marketing?
Well, I went to Full Sail to get a master's in design and marketing. And there I learned so much about perception. Just like you said, marketing is almost like basketball. It's so easy to do. Anybody can just pick up a ball, you can play by yourself. And then people's perception is it's easy. Just open a program or Word, or now I can go get on Canva. That's not. It's so tricky, and you have to understand, you have to stay above and ahead of trends. And then it's not about your own personal taste. You have to remove yourself from imagery and visuals and things of that nature. It's not about what you like personally. It's about what's going to appeal to the demographic that you're targeting. So that's the struggle in marketing, because the client always knows, oh, well, I like purple. Oh, well, I like green. Like the people that you're going after, you don't even know what they like per se. But just assume that it's not going to be exactly like what you like. It's almost like everybody trying to agree to go to lunch. 20 people, like, where you want to go?
Where to go? Yeah.
Right. You tell them, look, we're going here.
Yes. That's right.
So when it comes to marketing, it's getting that education yourself, staying above or ahead of trends, setting trends, and then educating the client as well. So it can be tough, but it's definitely rewarding, especially when you have the right clients.
Yeah. So do you select your clients?
Oh, I would love to. And yes, I would say this. I'm in a space now where I'm getting more and more selective of clients, because at first it was all about, do you have the budget to pay? Let's roll. Do you have the budget to pay? Let's roll. Now I'm understanding all money is not good money. All clients are not good clients. It could be a high dollar client, but if they're going to be so difficult to deal with and not trust you, because in marketing, you come to me. You come to our company, and you have to trust us to bring your vision to fruition. But if you don't trust us, it's almost like trying to bake a cake and the person's on your shoulder. Yeah, well, don't use that type of margarine, use this. And why are you using that milk? I don't use milk, I use this. Well, just watch out. I'm like, wow. So I'm in the space now where me and my team are choosing our clients, and we're manifesting what we want to do, where we want to be. And that's where we're moving into. But at first, it was whoever had the budget to pay.
That typical startup. That's because especially in marketing, reputation is everything. And you've got to be able to build that reputation to begin with. Way back when, one of companies would say to us, "Well, who's your client?" Well, we only started a few months ago. Just come back to us when you've got some clients. Well, that's self-defeating there, because I'm bored, I'm never going to have any clients, and not going to make it. And so as any entrepreneur, anybody starting a business, it's cart before the horse thing. You got your business, but then you have to start building that reputation. And marketing in particular I think is really tough on that end, because I say everybody has their own perception of what marketing is. What's the difference between marketing and advertising? The brand versus actually selling something. Building that brand and building that knowledge of that brand. So without putting you on the spot, I would say that clients are difficult because they have a vision of themselves, and they have a vision of their product that's purely based on their passion for their product. And I would imagine there are very difficult conversations that have to be had in order to open somebody's mind up to this is how your product is perceived, or this is how you should want it to be perceived.
Yeah, and in that space, you have to be able to have those courageous conversations. And sometimes you have to tell them something they don't want to hear. Now, the outcomes of that can go either way. They can take that constructively, or they can say, you know what, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going over here, and then I'm gonna tell everybody that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. So those courageous conversations really start at the outset, where you really have to vet the clients to see if it's a good fit. Do you trust us? Do you trust us first? And then on both sides, you have to operate with integrity. Just be honest. And that's the best policy. Transparency, honesty, the best policy. And then open lines of communication.
I mean, people respect that a lot more these days than maybe they would have done 10 years ago. That fact that you're willing to have those conversations and that you're willing to walk away. That if you can't work with somebody, there's no shame in saying, I'm sorry, this just isn't working, and it's not in your best interest as my client to continue with that. And those are the conversations that people sometimes find very difficult to have, but
that's tough.
It really is in the best interest of your own business.
Oh, for sure. And that's tough when you're an entrepreneur, man. Because it could be a situation where you're in between contracts and funds are getting low, and you have to make that tough decision to walk away when that's saying, hey, that's $10,000 I'm not going to have this month. You know what I mean? Or $5,000 or whatever. So those things are tough, but I think it all evens out when you are operating in a space of integrity. That's just how it has to be.
I mean,
you end up hating yourself doing work for people you don't get along with. It's like, oh my God, here they go.
And that's because in the end, you're not pleased with your work because you've done something that is not your work. It's what they wanted you to do. And so you don't take any satisfaction out of that job because it's really not you. It's not your company's work that you're putting out there. I've had occasion in the past where with coaching where people they want to, but they don't want to do the work that's associated with it. And it's like, well, there's no point in continuing this relationship because neither of us are going to get anything out of it.
Exactly.
And so, then when you're ready, then by all means give me a call and we can get back together again. But sometimes you have to learn the hard way that there are other things that are different in that. So do you every year you yearly planning sessions, get your goals together?
I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry, do you get yearly planning sessions with your team? Do you get them all together and see where you're going to be going for the next year?
With the team, that's almost weekly. Of course, we do quarterly, monthly, but weekly we meet and assess, especially now because we're tackling so many new ventures. We have to make sure that we stay the course and then stay focused. Because another thing is when you're hot, when you're on fire, then everybody's coming to you. And if you say, yes, of course, then you get off. Sometimes you veer off your path and you have a particular path that we set at the beginning of the year. For this quarter, we're focusing on this. For this quarter, this is the last quarter. This is what we're focusing on. We don't want to take on too much new work where it kind of gets us off of where we're going. Because, I would say this, for lack of a better word, starting niching a little bit, So of course, 3 of our niche areas are sports marketing, education, and government. And right now, education and sports marketing really are driving the ship right now, and especially with the new NIL law that was passed for name, image, and likeness
Yes.
for college athletes. We're currently managing 3 campaigns right now. So that's a very hot space that could be, you know, not only lucrative, but also very necessary for young people not to get caught up in the wrong way, looking for dollars and not understanding what the opportunity actually is.
Yeah.
So we're being careful in meeting and staying in our niches, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, marketing. Yeah, you're right. Your marketing is about. I was going to ask you about your particular niche, because marketing is such a broad subject, and
Right.
you know, that people tend to specialize in that. So, do you have like other partners that if it's not your specialty, you will bring somebody else in?
Sure, definitely. It is tough though, being divergent as a company, where you can do it, and saying no sometimes, even though it's really, really good, it's tough to do. But we definitely have partners in other cities, even overseas, that we deal with and say, hey, right now might not be the best time for us, but we have somebody who's.
Oh, fine. So, when you look at the future, how do you see Design 31 growing?
I see Design 31 being the #1 sports marketing and education marketing company in the world.
Love it.
Not Mid-South, not in the nation, in the world. And just changing our vision is to change user experience, how brands and consumers integrate, operate those relationships. We want to change that. We want to break molds. We want to make history. We want to make money, get awards, and affect lives at the same time. So that's where we see ourselves.
Love it. I love it. And that's, you know, when I ask that question to people, you know, I love the people who are bold with their statements. You know, you know, because if you set the bar low, then you're only going to go low. So you set the bar high, and that's what you're aiming for through everything that you're doing. So how can people find out more about Design 31?
Oh, so we're everywhere. So of course, our mantra, I'm not sure if you saw it back here, but our mantra is Be Dope Daily. Yeah. So on Instagram, we're Be Dope Daily. On Twitter, we're Be Dope Daily. Our website is bedopedaily.co. That's www.bedopedaily, daily.co, not com.
Not com.
Co.
Yeah.
Right. So you can find us there. We're building our other spaces, but sometimes you know how it is. We're doing so much work for other people. We're doing so much great work. We don't even have time to say. We've won in the past month, maybe past 2 or 3 months, 3 awards, and haven't really been able to broadcast them.
That's fantastic. That's congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And there's more coming, because every time we get through a campaign, I'm like, yeah, that's one. Yeah. Move the trophy around. That's one. We just did Thaddeus Young, who is one of M-Town's finest athletes, men, entrepreneurs. He plays now for the Toronto Raptors, but he's a Memphis native every summer. Before COVID, of course, but you know, now we were able to get back in the gym. He does a basketball camp for the Memphis Shelby Metro department at Mitchell High School, which is his alma mater. You got Mitchell High School, and you have Mitchell Community Center, 2 gyms right beside each other. And we did the strategy and the signage behind it. And what we did this year, since he's such a big entrepreneur and investor, our messaging wasn't about basketball. It was about investing in your community, investing in yourself, become an entrepreneur. Yeah. And matter of fact, just last night we posted it on Instagram, and I said, oh yeah, this is an award winner. Right. You know when you know. You do. It's definitely an award winner. So we're just blessed to be able to take on have clients like that, and then take on meaningful projects and campaigns like that, so we can affect others and spark the minds of the youth. That's what it's really all about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was a youth soccer coach for 20 years, and
Okay.
I love all that giving.
Oh,
That's my
yeah.
giving back mode, and I love all that interaction, the ability to be able to shape young lives and young minds.
Yeah.
Hopefully, give them an opportunity to be successful in something. When defining
Right.
what success is, whether they're just playing.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
still that participation that's the big thing. You got to be able to participate.
And you never know. The biggest thing about teaching and coaching, because I still mentor, and we have a mentoring component of our business that we're starting. We've done some seminars, but we're starting up for young Black males that have their own businesses. We're starting up a cohort this fall. Why I'm saying that is you never know. You never see yourself like others see you. And you definitely don't see yourself how young people see you.
Yes.
They like, oh, Mr. Potts, he's just so perfect and I want to be like him, but they'll never tell you. They might be the ones that give you the most problems.
Right.
10, 15 years, they come back like, Coach, man, I appreciate you so much. Even when you were getting on me, I was listening, and now I'm walking in what you were teaching me. So
that is so true. From being a Boy Scout leader back in England to coaching soccer here, the only thing you get daily pleasure out of that, but the end result is that hopefully you've impacted somebody's life to where they have their own kids. They look back and say, hey, I remember when I played soccer, I played basketball, and I had this great coach, and he not only taught me the game, but he taught me other things about life as well. I mean, those are things you'll never know. You just hope you've impacted somebody's life to that point.
Right, for sure. That's amazing.
Thank you so much for giving so much of your time. Actually, that was really good. I really enjoyed talking to you. And
thank you.
You are people like you are the heart of the communities that are making business grow, and also reaching out and helping other people along the way. So those are the stories. Those are the stories we love. Those are the stories we love to hear. So thanks so much.
No problem. Thank you. City of Memphis.
So that's right.
Shout out Rough Feathers. This is my guy Antonio Jones. He's an entrepreneur in the city. Rough Feathers.
Rough Feathers.
I might have to get you a hat, Keith.
I need something to cover up all this whiteness of his white hair.
That's right, see, I don't even have that. So
that's right. When I go to the salon and get my hair cut, they're all like, well, how do you want it cut? So I don't really care. I'm just glad it grows back again. So
right. It's a blessing.
I'll go with that. Great. Thanks so much for your time. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Same.
Thanks. Right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.